Guten Tag and welcome to Berlin, where we've come to get an up-close look at this, the all-new Hyundai Kona. And I say all-new because it is. This is a critically important model for the brand moving forward. Now, the EV-focused design means there's obviously some pretty significant changes to the look of the Kona. At the front end, now because this is the petrol N-line, we do have a lower air intake that we don't get on the electric model, but we do have this horizontal seamless light feature at the front, which does miss the pixelation like you get on the Ioniq 5. You can get that on the Kona Electric, so it does have a very Ioniq vibe to it. But as you can see, this is the N-line, so it's a bit sportier and a bit chunkier. But one of the elements I think really stands out on this new Kona design is these sharper crease lines along the side here, and especially around the rear three-quarter, that do give it a bit of a familiar Tucsonish appearance. But overall, it's more aerodynamically curved again at the rear, which again is that nod to the electric-focused design. So even on this petrol model, you do get those elements that have shaped the very structure of this car. The major design changes continue on the inside, where there's a lot of elements that have come from the Ioniq 5 electric vehicle. For instance, we've ditched the Hyundai logo on the steering wheel. We've got this huge long panel here that's actually a pair of 12.3-inch screens for the instrument panel, but also the infotainment system. We've got the Ioniq's gear selector on the steering column, and that's freed up a lot of small item storage space in the center console, so it's a much more practical car. And that practicality continues in the rear, where the wheelbase has actually been extended by 60 millimeters, and that's specifically to give second row passengers a lot more space, and it does noticeably feel a lot bigger and roomier in the back. And in the rear, there's a 466-litre boot, which is also larger, to make the Kona a bigger, more practical SUV. Hyundai Australia hasn't confirmed final details just yet, but it's expected that we'll get a more upmarket lineup to choose from with Hyundai's aspirations for this new, larger Kona. Expect at least 2 trim grades across each model, including the N-line treatment on the petrol models and potentially even the electric. But it's possible Hyundai will drop its entry-level model as part of its repositioning. This, combined with the larger size and the increased levels of standard equipment, will likely lead to price increases across the range. So expect the Kona lineup to now begin above $30,000 instead of the current $26,900 entry price. The Kona is very much a car of its time, so it will have 3 powertrain options. We've already had a look at the petrol car. This is the hybrid, and there's also a fully electric version. So let's take a look at the powertrains that are headed our way. Hyundai Australia has confirmed it will offer all 3 powertrain options available in the new model. While final specifications are yet to be announced, we do have a good idea of what to expect. The petrol engine choices will be upgraded versions of the current Kona, which means a 2-litre 4-cylinder with a CVT automatic and a 1.6-litre turbocharged petrol with a new 8-speed automatic, replacing the 7-speed dual clutch from the outgoing model. The 2-litre is expected to make 110 kilowatts and 179 newton meters, while the 1.6 will punch out 146 kilowatts of power and 265 newton meters of torque. The hybrid Kona will pair a 1.6-litre 4-cylinder petrol engine with an electric motor for 104 kilowatts and 265 newton meters of performance. Finally, there's the Kona Electric, which will be available in both standard and long-range variants. The former gets an electric motor making 114 kilowatts and 255 newton meters, powered by a 48.4 kilowatt battery that provides a claimed range of 342 kilometers. The long-range option has more power, 160 kilowatts, but still 255 newton meters of torque. But thanks to its 65.4 kilowatt-hour battery, it can drive up to 490 kilometers. As I say, while local specifications haven't been confirmed, it's notable that despite Hyundai talking up the new Kona as being designed as an electric vehicle first, torque has actually been significantly reduced to down 140 newton meters, and the range has only increased by 6 kilometers on the WLTP cycle. We'll have to reserve final judgment until we see the new Kona in Australia, but it appears to have taken somewhat of a backward step in some regards. The good news for Australians is we won't have to wait too much longer for the Kona to actually make its way down under. The petrol versions like this N-line will start arriving in the middle of the year, and then by the 4th quarter, the EV and the hybrids will be in showrooms. Now, we'll have to wait for pricing and final specifications until then, but as always, you can stay up to date with all the news and reviews at carsguide.com.au.